Society teaches us that language is our most powerful tool, the primary way we organize our lives. But when it comes to perceiving the physical world, words often function as a filter, blinding us to the actual geometry of what we see. Many creative practices rely on a specific shift, utilizing nonverbal stimuli, like instrumental music, to disengage the verbal circuits and move toward an unmediated sensory experience. The brain uses language as a high-speed shortcut. Instead of processing the rich, actual data of light and shadow, it quickly labels an object, files it away, and discards the visual evidence in favor of the word. To see what light is truly doing, we have to quiet the internal monologue that is constantly trying to name the world. That internal chatter is the work of the left hemisphere, or L mode, a system built for survival that prioritizes rapid-fire categorization over deep observation. When the L mode encounters complex shadows or subtle, shifting light, it rejects the information. To this part of the brain, those details are unnameable and therefore useless for making a split-second decision. To maintain efficiency, the brain takes a three-dimensional volume defined by light and reduces it to a flat, sterile symbol. As long as the L mode is dominant, we aren't observing the physical world. We are only interacting with our own mental labels. Immersing the mind in nonverbal stimuli starves the L mode of the words it needs to categorize. This allows the right side of the brain, the R mode, to take over the process of observation. The right hemisphere does not care about names. It is specialized for spatial relationships, negative spaces, and the sheer complexity of what is in front of us. The artist Kimon Nicolaides argued that under this state, seeing becomes a multi-sensory experience, where we visually touch the objects we are drawing rather than simply looking at them. This tactile sight allows an observer to feel an object's volume and mass, similar to how a person without sight uses their hands to build an internal model of three-dimensional form. Shifting into this nonverbal state allows the eyes to communicate the physical weight and depth of the world directly to the mind. This brings us to light logic, the predictable way light interacts with solid form, as mapped out by the illustrator Andrew Loomis. This diagram shows the anatomy of light on a sphere: highlight, halftone, core shadow, and reflected light. The verbal brain misinterprets these subtle halftones. Unable to name the transition, it sees any disruption of a flat tone as a smudge or dirt on the surface. The R mode, free from the need to categorize, recognizes these gradients as the literal evidence of geometry. It sees the smudge as the surface of the object curving away into space. By utilizing light logic, artists can trigger the visual system's automatic depth processing, turning a flat page into a convincing three-dimensional volume. This shift isn't just a change in perspective, it is a physical, measurable change in the brain's internal structure. Voxel-based morphometry studies show that training in observational drawing physically alters the density of the brain, specifically in the left anterior cerebellum and the right medial frontal gyrus. These structural increases occur in areas dedicated to fine motor control, procedural memory, and the generation of visual imagery. Drawing provides the evidence that we can physically rewire our neural pathways to process the physical world with greater precision. This same nonverbal awareness applies to how we perceive the presence of color. The verbal brain limits color by reducing it to basic labels like red or yellow, which strips away the complexity of how light actually hits the eye. When we drop the labels, the brain's limbic system is free to process color as raw frequency, an emotional response to light that exists before a word can be formed. This culminates in the Gestalt, a state of mind where we no longer see a collection of separate parts, but a single holistic arrangement where every element relates to the whole. By quieting the verbal chatter, we stop projecting our own definitions onto the world and begin to experience our environment as a direct arrangement of light and form.